everybody. I am excited to share with you a book that was released just recently. It is by Shaheen, Miro, and Theresa, the Tarot Lady. I know it looks backwards here, but I'm going to show you it the right way in a moment. It's just because I have my phone on selfie mode. Tarot for Troubled Times is a much needed book. I'm going to share with you what's inside it and who it's for. So there are, if you're new to tarot and you're wondering if this is for you, yes, and there are things to help you understand all those cards that may seem new and mysterious to you, to help them apply them to your world. And if you are an old hand and you've been with this system for a long time and tarot is an old friend, and this is also for you because there are techniques in here that will help you put these cards to work for you. So who is this book for? So there are 4 A's I figured out that fit into the category of who needs to consider this. So anytime if you experience adversity, so that's our first A. This is for if you're dealing with any kind of crisis or problem or adversity, conflict, that sort of thing, this book is great for you. If you have addiction, any issues with addiction, or if someone you love has an issue with an addiction, this is also an excellent resource for putting those cards to work to help you there. The third one is Advocacy. So these cards heighten from looking into things into how can I manage things better? How can I advocate for myself or somebody better? And then the fourth one, the big one, is Activism. Takes it right to the top. How can I create change in my world? Not only for just a change in my world in this little space, but in the bigger space of the whole. This book does great on exploring your shadow side. If you're moving from a relationship and you're feeling kind of down about that and you need a little help, like we mentioned, addiction is addressed in there. And there's a 12-step program that many of us may have heard about. This book talks about putting similar steps to work with something like tarot, and it's brilliantly done and laid out for the reader so they can do this for themselves and engage with the cards that way. Find out where you're resisting in your life. So sometimes we're kind of blind to those things, and this book will help you find what are we maybe resisting. Why can't we move to the next level? This book will help you there. If you are in need of healing, this helps you there. If you're working through, say, grief and sadness, you've got a lot of help getting you through that here. If you need help like detecting toxic people or toxic situations, it's all in here, as well as psychic vampirism and psychic personalities, what they're like, how to deal with them. But if you don't know how to identify those, you won't even know, why these things are happening. This helps you like pinpoint those things. If you need to pinpoint your life purpose, that's in here as well. What are your strengths? So you can figure out what you're good at, what you can do well. And it'll help you figure out the best ways to use your energy to get to life, to create a world where you make a difference and have a purpose. So this book is about using tarot for intention setting. It's using it for healing, working through stuff. Difficult experiences are kind of like you can walk through them with this. It gives you a friend through tarot. I know when I was going through a bad relationship and eventually a divorce, tarot was my best friend. And it's like you always have someone there to talk to and guide you and get you to a better place. And I actually did that. This book has very specific techniques and layouts and ideas to help you do a similar type thing. So gain your personal power by putting those cards to work. It goes from personal soul seeking into healing, and then once you're healed and you're ready to make change in yourself, it also helps you see, like I said, the bigger picture and change a bigger space, working with people around you and changing that or making it better, as well as the world itself, activism, and creating something like a legacy for yourself. There's even a section in here on how to create important sacred space, how to create magic, that sort of thing is discussed. There are sample spreads that you can work through, things like addiction and grief, and that 12-step program is mentioned in here to help you. You can also learn about your birth cards. So Mary K. Greer had a book about this, and they talk about using your birth cards as a means to find personal power and purpose and shadow side. So each of the cards, if you're new to tarot, you'll find that when you get to that section about the birth cards, there is information for each of the cards. It's nice and brief where it talks about each of these. Let me show you what I mean. We'll take one card and use it as a sample. So the book talks about how to find your birth card, how to narrow it down, how to find your archetype. They give little descriptions of each of the archetypes. It gives examples for each of the major arcana cards, which your birth cards would narrow down to, which you are. Mine happen to narrow down to the Chariot. So when I go to the Chariot page, it gives me every card gets this, an affirmation, a positive, a shadow, and then an action, something you can do. I found that it fit very well with me, that one of my actions is say to lead when I can. I find myself just naturally doing that, so it's nice to know that this card fits so comfortably for me. And it talks about some of my shadow concerns. I lack of self-control or trying to control matters. So I notice with me, I can be impulsive at times, so that's one of the things I do need to work with. It talks about finding also your year card. So this is more specific to the year we are living in and how to make the most of that year. And it talks about, again, things that you can learn about yourself through that. So in each of those, you get an affirmation and a positive and a shadow that you may find yourself walking through. So the cards are clearly described. Also, the minors are addressed as well. So there's information on each of those to help people walk through those. Either it can expand what you're already doing if you are an old seasoned tarot lover like me, or if you happen to be new, it kind of guides you by the hand. The body, mind, spirit, there's lots of little spreads and ideas in here that you can do. Lots of neat ways to use sacred space. And there's a lot of really fun reading in here in terms of how to, look at that, they even get for the big stuff in the back. The book builds up to some really good stuff. There are some nice resources in the back on other books that can help guide you, where to go for help if you do find yourself in a crisis. Decks that are recommended. Lots of really good stuff in this book, but what I really love about this book is that it helps us take something that we use often for ourselves and really use it to take action, as well as to get bigger and bigger with it. So take the steps you need to help heal yourself and then later to help heal the world. So if you're looking for a way to shine your light kind of in the face of adversity, if you want to get some tools to help you get there and you're kind of like at a loss or stuck in a rut, this helps you get there. And throughout this book, one thing I really love, and this is another thing that saved me during some really rough times, is it really encourages journaling. So what you find in the cards, write it down, put it in journals. It helps give you some journaling activities. I really like that. It helps you explore, put down. And I remember learning in college that when you hear something, write something at the same time, learn something while you write it, it helps you recall it and remember it, and it like makes it firm in you. So I like that they have you write it down. So whether you're new to tarot or whether it's something that you've been using a long time and you really need to get some ideas on how to make it work in different ways for you or to help you get through some troubled times, this book is really interesting and fun to read. I found myself kind of devouring it in chunks at night when I wanted to sit and just kind of be with myself, and I found myself taking out different decks and exploring different images in different decks and seeing where they took me. So highly recommended. Good job, Shaheen and Theresa, for this book. This is your big thing putting out in the world. I can see how this can help make our world a better place, and let's hope it helps people move forward and make this a better world. Tarot for Troubled Times. This is a little bonus piece. Guess what else this book can help you do? I learned that you can use it for more than just tarot. So while it does talk about using tarot for things like archetypes and birth cards and year cards, the spreads and the ideas you can use for other oracles. So if you like angel cards, if you like Lenormand cards, if you like some other kind of oracle system playing cards, I dibbled and dabbled with different systems using the ideas and spreads and techniques, and they spoke to me in ways that those oracle decks tended to do. So don't limit yourself to only tarot with this book. Kind of explore and go places with it if you like to kind of reach out and do other things. But it also works great with tarot. There's nothing quite like tarot in terms of finding like pieces of your soul, mirrors of yourself. But I find with the Lenormand, for example, very active, pragmatic cards. It would tell me, boom, what to do, not how much I felt about it. So not just for tarot. You can use it for many, many things. Have fun.